got some NBA action to update you on as well, specifically regarding Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets taking on the Clippers. First quarter on the fast break, Christian Brown finding Jokic. Feed him. Under a minute left in the quarter. Jokic again from Brown. That three ball helps him get 25 points in the first quarter, most by a Nuggets player in a quarter since Carmelo. Money, and then in the paint once again. Spin move, floater, proper. 52 points through three quarters. Fourth career 50-point game. That's the most in Denver history. Nuggets up 16 after three. In the fourth and final frame, Jokic comes in halfway through the fourth. Brown misses the lay-in, and Jokic is there to clean things up. 55 points to finish the evening, 130 to 116. Your final.
55, 12, and 6. We got to welcome in ESPN NBA analyst Kendrick Perkins on this one. Another masterful night by the three-time MVP. Like Trevor said, fourth career 50-point game, 50, 10, and 5 at the end of three quarters. What do you make of this performance?
Did you see how mad Steve Ballmer was on the sideline? That was the first. That was the first thing. But look, Jokic is leading the league in assists. Tonight, this matchup was personal, and he made Zubac and the Clippers smell his cologne. Came out aggressive from the jump, and he just flat out dominated and showed us why he's the most skilled center to ever play the game of basketball and a top 5 center to ever play the game of basketball. What he did all across the board, inside out, showing the complete package, showing the three-point range, inside work on the low block. When I look at Jokic and what he's doing right now, I have never witnessed a guy, a center, with this size, lack of athleticism, dominate the way that he's dominating in this fashion. His motto this season has been let shot attempts get others involved. Tonight, it was personal against Big Zubac.
It was personal, and when it's personal, it looks like that. Clippers, you know now. All right, Perk, hang out. We got to get you for this other showdown involving another big man, Mr. Wembanyama, facing Mr. Curry. Warriors, Spurs. Early first quarter, take a look at this. Wemby matched up with Draymond Green. He's 11 feet away as Draymond takes a three, takes one step and gets a block. Only Wemby can do that. 11 feet away, one step, gotcha. Later in the first quarter, Stephon Castle, dishing to Wemby. Oh, dunks that home. Spurs up 4. Later, Castle to Wemby. Back to Castle, alley-oop. Man, these last two Rookie of the Years making it happen. Scored or assisted on 46 of the Spurs' 56 first-half points to Wemby and Castle. Spurs up 7 at halftime. Third quarter, though, still the Warriors, and they still do this. Curry, splash. Warriors cut the deficit to 6, and then Curry, step back, splash. 37 through three quarters, Warriors up 2. And then Butler get the strip on a 7-foot dude like that, and then he gets to Podziemski, back to Butler, gets to go. Warriors up 6. Wemby had 8 turnovers in this one, but he did a lot of things right. That's not so great. Curry did this really right. Gets the 2 right there. Warriors go up 5, and then later Wemby guarding Curry, so Curry misses, but Gary Payton II's like, here you go, Steph. Get the 3. He had a 46 on this night, a season high for him. Warriors going to win 125-120. Here's Steve Kerr on where Curry is in the Dubs universe.
You know, when you have the privilege of watching Steph for 11 plus years, like I have, you get used to this. And he's the reason this whole thing has happened. You know, he's our Tim Duncan. You know, he's the sun, you know, in our solar system.
The sun, there you go. Steph Curry, proven once again, age ain't nothing but a number on Wednesday night. His 12th 40-point game since turning 35, tying Michael Jordan for the second most in NBA history. Curry trails only LeBron with 15.
Back with Perk here on SportsCenter. Just a few nights ago, Perk, we were talking about Draymond Green calling out his team for the personal agendas that they had on the court on a nightly basis. So what was Steph's agenda when he dropped that 46-piece all flats, your words, not mine?
habanero style at that. He was desperate. They were desperate. The Warriors were desperate, especially after being embarrassed last night in Oklahoma City. Steph had it on his mind to go out there and set the tone and get back to playing Warrior basketball. And with him and Draymond and Jimmy Butler showed the young guys on this team is that it's still our team. So a message was sent to Bajemski. A message was sent to Jonathan Kuminga that we have a way, we have a formula, we play a gender-free basketball, and this is how we're going to play it. Think about this for a second. The Spurs had 2 players that had triple-doubles tonight, and they lost. Triple-doubles, and they lost. Behind the heroics of Steph, Jimmy chipped in 28 points, but again, the Warriors needed this win. They needed to find their identity. They approached this game as if it was a playoff game, and you could tell by their energy and tenacity, and they came out victorious.
Yeah, you can make all the old head jokes you want to regarding that Warriors roster, but a veteran presence really does mean a lot, especially when you got a bunch of young cats running out there on the court with them. Perk, we appreciate you as always, player.
Appreciate you.
Nuggets on a Wednesday. Joker put up 55 points in the Nuggets win. Good for his.
Missed just 2 of his 16 free throws. He was just so efficient. And, you know, with the Clippers, it's been a rough season for them to start. They're just 3-8, but you look at them on paper and you think, okay, well, they at least have the personnel to slow down Joker. Nobody stops him, but maybe you think on a second night of a back-to-back that Zubac, you throw him at him. He's a good defender. Brook Lopez is a good defender. Maybe you throw some different looks, John Collins or Derrick Jones Jr. Nobody was stopping Joker tonight. He could have, if he wanted to, Madeline, gone for 70 points. And it's really amazing because he's averaging a triple-double this season, but his points per game are actually, he averaged a triple-double last year too, but his points per game are actually down year over year because he hasn't had to be the main scorer. But his shooting efficiency is up this season, his counting stats, his rebounds, his assists, his defensive numbers all up. Madeline, he could be the first player in NBA history to lead the league in both rebounds and assists. That's how good he's been. SGA is the reigning MVP. He's playing great. The Oklahoma City Thunder are flying, but with apologies to that man, Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world, and he showed it again tonight.
Absolutely. 55 points in the game. 52 of them came in the first 3 quarters. This man has only missed 8 shots in the last 2 games in a back-to-back, staying dominant. Another player who's staying dominant, though, Steph Curry. He dropped 46 points against the Spurs Wednesday night in his return from a 3-game absence due to illness. John, that's Steph's 35th career 45-point game. That's good for 6th most all time. And as the Warriors get the win in San Antonio, they hand the Spurs their first loss at home this season. But how impressive is it that Steph is still playing at this level at 37 years old?
37, Madeline. I mean, let's not forget he made second-team All-NBA last year, and a lot of people are just like waiting for him to fall off a cliff here. He's not showing any signs of it. Yes, he was slowed by that sickness, but he comes back from whatever he was on the mend from health-wise and then decides, oh, by the way, I'm going to have 46 points tonight, and I'm going to be just as efficient as Nikola Jokic. I'm going to shoot 52% from the field. I'm going to have 5 3-pointers. And by the way, Madeline, he did this with Stephon Castle guarding him. Stephon Castle in his second year, almost every night is drawing the toughest perimeter defensive assignment. He's really good. Steph made him look like he was standing still. He didn't stop moving. He was all over the floor per usual, hitting from all over the court. He was fantastic. And by the way, the Warriors, you know, they really needed him to come back. They've had a slow start offensively where they're just 21st in offensive rating going into this game tonight. But on a night where Victor Wembanyama went for a triple-double, 31-point triple-double, and Stephon Castle went for a 23-point triple-double, you think automatically the Spurs are winning that game. They've been fantastic. And Steph Curry said, don't forget about me. I'm still one of the best players in the NBA.
Yeah, the Spurs have 2 players. You get them on the court in their trouble, they mess around and had a triple-double. But Steph Curry is the one who had a good day. We love to see it. John, we got to talk about these Mavericks. Dallas played their first game since firing GM Nico Harrison on Tuesday. Harrison, of course, fired in the wake of the trade that sent Luka Doncic to the Lakers in exchange for Anthony Davis, who Wednesday missed his 7th straight game. So when you look at the way this season is going for Dallas, how did the Mavericks correct course?
I'm not sure that they can, or maybe that they even want to. As the longer this thing drags on, where Kyrie Irving is still recovering from an ACL, and Anthony Davis, it looked like Anthony Davis was ramping up and he was going to come back, and all of a sudden the team's governor, Patrick Dumont, decided that, oh no, let's pump the brakes on that thing a little bit. This could be a situation where by the time those 2 guys are back, this thing is already out of hand, and they just decide to tank their way out of the season. Maybe they move on from Anthony Davis. There's been trade rumors, but they have done Cooper Flagg, no favors here. I mean, in addition to not having Kyrie Irving coming into the season, they could have looked at it roster construction wise when Nico Harrison was still around and going, man, we don't have any shot creation. We don't have any playmakers. They went and got D'Angelo Russell. Well, D'Angelo Russell, I don't know what he did to anger Jason Kidd, but Jason Kidd has only used him intermittently tonight. He came off the bench again, only played 14 minutes. Klay Thompson's been moved to the bench. They've got a massive front line, but really no backcourt help to speak of. So they're asking Cooper Flagg to do a whole lot here. And look, long term, that may benefit Cooper Flagg. That may benefit the Dallas Mavericks to get an 18-year-old, all of this experience on the fly, on the job, where he's experiencing these growing pains and he knows what to expect later on, 3-4 years down the line when he's 21, 22 years old. He'll be that much farther ahead of the curve. But for this season, this is an abject disaster. They're 3-9 and going nowhere fast.
Yeah, and it's tough when you're dealing with so many injuries as well. Speaking of injuries, though, the Knicks guard Jalen Brunson left Madison Square Garden after Wednesday's game in a walking boot. Now, Brunson landed on the foot of Wendell Carter, twisted his foot, and though he made his free throw and walked to the locker room on his own, seeing Brunson leave MSG in a boot and crutches has to be a little bit unsettling.
Yeah, you hate to see this. I mean, we all remember last year Jalen Brunson got hurt late in the season, was able to come back for the playoffs, but this is sort of a similar situation where he gets unlucky by landing on somebody's foot. Now, he still had prior to that, he had 31 points in 36 minutes in a game where they lose at home to the Magic, and the Magic have not been great this year. But you think about that, where they lose to the Magic and they had Jalen Brunson for most of the game. And you think, okay, well, what might happen if they don't have Jalen Brunson for a chunk of time going forward? Jalen Brunson might be the most irreplaceable player on the Knicks because they've got a lot of redundancies with their wings, with OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart, and they bolstered their bench. But now all of a sudden you take Jalen Brunson out of that lineup, and you're looking at probably more Deuce McBride, more Landry Shamet, more Jordan Clarkson. Those guys are fine players. They're good role players. But even in the aggregate, you can't really account for what you're losing in Jalen Brunson. Even if you lost Karl Anthony Towns, you still have Mitchell Robinson there, though. So I think everybody in New York right now have their fingers crossed for Jalen Brunson getting healthy soon.
Absolutely, especially considering the hot start the Knicks have had this season, dropping their first game at home at Madison Square Garden. Hopefully, Jalen Brunson can get back healthy soon. John Gonzalez, thanks so much for the insight. And as John said, probably the most irreplaceable player on the Knicks roster is this man right here, Jalen Brunson. With and without, well, you can see the difference. Win percentage drops, points per game drops, points per game differential drops. It's a big difference. Get well soon, Jalen Brunson.